So day 260 of hey, what are you doing today? It's gotten later in the day, and I kind of have this elation that comes from exhaustion. I don't know if anybody out there really knows what I'm talking about, but there's kind of a, if you've done some kind of hard laborious work in the yard or something, afterwards you're kind of tired, your energy is gone, but there's this strange sense of elation. And I don't know why that is. I haven't worked overly hard. I think that it may be coming from I've really started focusing on my diet the last couple days, and kind of really buckled down, and I don't know. I really feel like I'm about to to cross that next level. I think breaking into the 180s is going to be a pretty good feeling and a pretty big deal. As I get closer to that point, I noticed the other day my legs, how different my legs looks, and even though the weight's not, I'm at a point where the weight's not peeling off. I'm at a point where my body's physically changing. The fat's turning to muscle. I'm becoming leaner, and it's a good feeling, and it'll be nice to see what an impact this has on my life when I get to a weight where I just feel really good. I feel a lot better than I did. There's no doubt about it. But there's another level I know that's coming, that of just getting to that ideal weight, a weight where just that sense of that good feeling generates some kind of confidence. But didn't really want to talk too much about that, but just wanted to mention that I can kind of sense it. Day 260, I can feel a new threshold coming. And again, at 189, it'll be probably the thinnest I was in all of high school at any given time, maybe even eighth grade. I can't remember when the last time I was under 190 pounds. So that'll be a nice milestone. Um, I was thinking today, it's been really interesting to me that how this information has been coming to me, and it's just like I've been struggling with certain lessons that I know I need to learn. Basically, struggling with overcoming certain weaknesses in myself, certain mannerisms, certain things that have become ingrained in my actions or reactions or my thoughts, or my social awareness, or my social interactions with people. And to have 40 years of foundation that I'm trying to break it down, and it's been an endeavor for sure. It's one thing, I'm recognizing that it's one thing to know, to recognize that something needs to be changed, and it's one thing to recognize how to change it, but to actually make the changes is requires quite a bit of work. And the reason I'm talking about this is because I think I've probably mentioned this before, but it's just kind of the last thing I expected. This is when I started this endeavor 260 days ago. I simply stated that I wanted to open my own business, and ultimately be in charge of myself, and making my own income in some way, shape, or form. I didn't know how, or, or what I was going to be doing, but that was an initial goal, and then to get in good physical shape. And as I've passed through this 260 days, it's been really interesting that instead of I expected it to be more of a business exploration, laws, or different practices in business, entrepreneurship, looking at getting licenses, just looking at opportunities, somehow investigating different fields, and it hasn't been any of that, and it wasn't by choice. I just, I've said before, I just kind of opened myself up and let myself go. Whatever came to me, I took it in, and took from it. But it quickly turned into this spiritual, personal, social change, this overcoming that I need to do to myself. And what's interesting is it's such a huge part of working for myself, or being an entrepreneur, or being successful with my own business. It's everything that I'm chipping away, all these ugly things that I've found in myself, all these weak points that I've found in myself. If they if I went into business with them, I think they would have opened up multiple doors of failure. As I recognize these weaknesses, the they're they're not the characteristics of a successful person. And in business situations, and the ethics of business, or the social aspect of business, or just the intellectual aspect of business, they wouldn't have held for very strong, and it would have been kind of like going into business without any foundation whatsoever. And it's just so amazing to me that this foundation has come to me, and this I now truly recognize that in order to be successful in some way outside of getting that one fantastic idea and making a lot of money off it. Even with that idea, though, I think that there has to be some, in a lot of the cases, there would have to be some form of foundation for somebody to take the idea and make money. But I think that without the foundation, I think that on a personal level, I think anything that I would have tried to create would have crumbled, and that might be true for anybody. To go into just a weakness of character, a weakness of person, a weakness of ethics, a weakness of intellect and choices, and all those elements. Had I not spent this time working on the foundation, all of that would have collapsed. This may take a lot longer than I had ever anticipated. But the value in it is so huge. Building this foundation is so key, and it's going to be nice once I recognize that the foundation is established. Once I can then start building the first floor from there. But it's just peculiar to me that this was the last thing I expected, and now here, as I move along daily through this whole thing, it's kind of like something is providing this information at a perfect time as I need it. As I go through different things, all of a sudden another door will open up, and it's been interesting because there's been certain times where I thought, I'm going to run out of stuff to study, and all of a sudden a new door opens up, and now I'm at the point where I would never say that. It's just like there's so many doors that I want to open, so many pathways I want to search and go into and find some the validity of, or find the usefulness, find the tool for me, find it. But it's I just I've noticed it before, but it's almost without sounding too mystical or too outlandish, something is providing this in perfect timing. Something is putting me through these tests in perfect timing. Something is showing me this information. It's that ether again. It's you can almost touch it sometimes. It seems so real. But as I go through the days, it's just some great information popped up over the last couple days, and I think about it. Last week, so I found some great information that was perfect for the time that I was in last week, and so on and so on down the road. If I backtrack through these videos, which I look forward to doing at some point, uh, I can see where this information was provided for me. I don't talk too specifically about what I'm learning, or the information that's coming in. Sometimes I try to talk about some of the struggles that I'm going through, but I keep it kind of vague on purpose. I myself know what I'll be talking about, but at the same time, if anybody else kind of sees this, maybe they can take from it what they want of their own struggle. Maybe they'll find something to relate to, something in what I'm talking about to kind of carry on. But what a 260 days, what a great endeavor this has been, and very happy with everything. Sometimes I think, has it been a waste of time? Have I really learned that much? Have I really developed that much? And then I stop and I think, and yeah, definitely, without a doubt. Just like thinking about it right now, if I would have stepped off and gone into business 260 days ago, and taken my savings and went out and tried to start something, there would have been some ugliness for sure. There's no doubt in my mind there would have been some ugliness and some weakness, and I would come crawling back with my tail between my legs, so to speak. And now I feel like I've got enough of a foundation. If I went out and things started not to go so well, I would be able to adapt, maneuver, bounce off things. Turn. One of the things that came to me the other day was treat life like parkour, and as obstacles come, learn to move with them and bounce off them to the next level, and just keep that constant motion. So if, it's just a random thing I thought I'd throw out there, but keeping life as a form of social and spiritual and intellectual parkour, and just bouncing off things and trying to get to that goal. But boy, I mean, tomorrow will be the end of the year. We'll go into New Year's. Um, Going to 2016, and then a couple more days, and then there'll be the last 100 days of hey, what are you doing today? And then see where it takes me from there. But well, sure, I'm glad I stopped and caught myself and said, hey, what are you doing today, man? I mean, I never really thought of it that way, but hey, what are you doing? Sometimes it's good just to shake myself and say, hey, wake up. You spent all this part of your life adrift and just living for whatever comes, not really pursuing anything. And finally, decided I didn't like where my life had taken me out. Without being in control of it, without having two hands on the rudder. I was just I didn't even have oars. For 40 years, I was just out there, just floating underneath the stars. And where I ended up, I found a great person in my life, and that's a beautiful thing. So I'm not unhappy with the first 40 years of my life by any means. I'm very grateful for I find the beauty in how I lived, and what it brought to me. And but at the same time, I need I know that it's time to it's time to grow up. 40 years old, and time to put my hands on the rudder and get us out of this river, because the falls are coming up. you know so I gotta turn this boat around and find my way out of this circumstantial situation, and get myself into I just gotta create something. That's it. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to, among many different purposes. People talk about, what's my purpose in life. And you know what, maybe maybe we should ask, what are my purposes in life. Know that one of my purposes is to grow. One of my purposes is to create something. One of my purposes is to overcome myself. One of my purposes is to understand the world around me better. One of my purposes is to grow wiser. Starting with, I would not even really acknowledge that there was a difference between wisdom and knowledge, but definitely there is. They're two different things. Um, Day 260. Hey, what are you doing today? Thanks.